So tell me about your interview style on your show.
So, the Terrified Nation podcast has an interview and a standard 8-question interview. And we start by asking guests to think about their preferred future, not what they think is likely or probable, but what they actually want for themselves. And because it's personal, we don't have to worry about saving the world. It's really just about, like, here's what I want, it's what my heart's desire is. And so we start by suggesting that they go somewhere between 2 and 20 years into their future life. And so you pick a number. And once we get the number, we'll say 5 years for the sake of this sample. We say, okay, so here we are in 2029. Where are we? And describe your surroundings. What do you see? What's your community like? And what's your family like? What are you doing? And then we go through and we say, so what are you most proud of in your older self? And really pull out what is it that people deeply care about and want to be proud of in their future. And from there, then we talk about, like, well, how do you spend your day? Like a typical day, what do you do? And this really highlights how we prioritize where we spend time on our preferred life, right? And then the next question is, how do you feel most of the time? Because how we feel most of the time is really critical. We don't want to feel sad or confounded all the time, frustrated. So much frustration out there right now. And so then we're building this picture of this personal preferred future. And then the next question is, as you look at your older self, what can you identify as the priority values? Maybe 3 to 5. And you could also say qualities if the word values has got some triggers to it. And then we kind of bring it back home and we build out this picture and kind of encapsulate it a little bit. And then I ask folks, so let's talk about the community in which you live, and what does that community need to include or provide so that your preferred future is possible? And this is where we start bringing it home and getting it into action. And then the very last question, we suck people back into the present day. And we say, okay, what are you doing today or in the near future are you going to do to bring that community about so you can have what you want?
I love it. So amazing.
And that's the American Future interview that's also part of the Terrified Nation
And what is your
podcast.
name? Give your name again.
So my name is Debbie Lynn Molyneux. It's Debilyn.
Yes.
Molyneux, Molineau, X is an X-ray.
And how did you get this idea? Was it out of doing your Terrified Nation that you were really wanted to talk about what people were feeling, and then you had a solution, or?
No, it was built. This whole idea came to me in early 2023 out of frustration because more people weren't caring about democracy. And I realized in running a pro-democracy coalition that part of what was disconnected was that people didn't understand, number one, how democracy could deliver for them, what their role was in it. And most importantly, they didn't understand how it was going to improve their lives because all they've seen from the media and all the stories that are coming out of Hollywood right now are primarily dystopian. We're going to vote for this guy because that future is not as bad as that future, but they all suck. And so if we want a future that we actually prefer, we need to start with a story that we can then build into narrative. And when I was talking to narrative people, they were all starting at the systems level instead of at the personal level. And so we were getting some issue agendas that were going to be imposed depending on which candidate won, and it still felt dystopian and powerless.
Yeah. So it's really to empower and vision and then pull them back into what the now to create it.
And then enact, and that really engages people in their community as local citizens in the place where it matters.
So what is your
most.
background?
So my background is, well, I'm going to just pull out the relevant background because it's it's varied. But I did train as an ontological coach, so that's really kind of getting to the essence of being and trying to figure that out. And then I've been a serial nonprofit entrepreneur and co-founded Living Room Conversations, the National Week of Conversation, and Bridge Alliance, which has spawned then the Fulcrum, Citizen Connect, and there's a JEDI DEI program that we work within democracy.
And then how are you here today at this? Are you helping the artist, or?
I am helping Suzanne at her exhibit, Alienable Right to Life, because in 2016, when she was doing a previous exhibit called Updraft America, she called me as the co-founder of Bridge Alliance And she was, and that art exhibit actually introduced us. And then when I moved to DC 4 years ago,
Yeah.
we just became fast friends.
Awesome. Well, thank you.
You're welcome.